Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for June 25th, 2012. It is currently 9 a.m. and we are starting off the week in a very stormy fashion with lightning and thunder and heavy rain, even some small hail throughout much of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. Here is our line of strong to severe thunderstorms. Very impressive thunderstorms are moving through Freehold right now with very heavy rainfall, frequent lightning. But the good news is that this line is moving fast. And once this line of thunderstorms moves through, we are one and done for severe weather for today. But if you're in Monmouth County, Ocean County, all the way down the New Jersey coast, they're going to be dealing with the threat for severe thunderstorms this morning as this line moves through and builds south and west. If you're in Connecticut and Long Island, the threat for severe weather is declining as the atmosphere stabilizes, and pretty much we're going to be dealing with very heavy rainfall for today as this cold front moves through. Let's take a look at the observations here, and you can see there's a big difference between in front of the thunderstorms and behind them. In front of the thunderstorms, temperatures are in the upper 60s to mid 70s. We have a wind coming from the south-southeast, and that, of course, is producing a rather mild and humid air mass ahead of these thunderstorms, which basically fuels these thunderstorms. Now, ironically, if this was happening in the afternoon, this very same air mass would lead to a stabilization and a weakening of the thunderstorms because the warmer air would be further inland. But this time it's reversed because of the time of the morning. Also notice behind these thunderstorms, temperatures drop off rapidly into the upper 50s to lower 60s. In southeastern Pennsylvania, the upper 60s. And that basically tells us the atmosphere really cools off. It becomes rain-cooled and stabilizes. And we can see that in some of the data here. This is from the Severe Prediction Center. We get these observations. This is called lifted index. It's basically the difference between temperatures at the surface to 500 millibars, which the greater the difference, the faster the air rises, and thus the stronger the thunderstorms. In this case, you can see we have all our instability right along the coast, and then once those thunderstorms move through, atmosphere significantly stabilizes, which means that our threat for severe weather is going to be focused mostly in the morning, perhaps a few isolated severe thunderstorms in the early afternoon over portions of southern New Jersey as that line moves through. Then, once this line of thunderstorms moves through, we remain cloudy for the most part with a few breaks of sun here and there, but our atmosphere becomes relatively cool. We're only getting into the lower to mid 70s for highs today for most locations, possibly pushing into the upper 70s in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, but the point is that we stay cool. And so as a result, the best potential for severe weather is actually now, not this afternoon. So our atmosphere stabilizes. Now, what's causing all of this in the first place? Well, at 500 millibars, you can see we have a rather impressive trough diving through the northern mid-Atlantic. This trough is going to move through today, producing a threat for continued scattered showers, heavy at times, and a few isolated thunderstorms as well. Again, the best threat for severe weather is now, this morning, and then thereafter the rest of the afternoon we'll see periods of rain, heavy at times, and overcast cloud cover. Clearing conditions can be expected for this evening, so if you're going to a baseball game tonight, whether it's a minor league game or the Yankees or Phillies or whatnot, you can expect a threat for a shower at the start of the game, but as we move on through the evening, dry conditions will take hold. Also want to point out all this moisture in the southeast. This is what's left of Tropical Storm Debby. Now, let me go to the infrared satellite picture because I think you'll see Debby a little bit better here. Here is the low-level circulation of Debby. Right here you can see that spin. Here's all the thunderstorms. And the reason why all the thunderstorms are way out here as opposed to over here is because of what's called southwesterly shear. Basically, that means that the upper-level winds are forcing all the thunderstorms well away from the low-level center. What does this mean for you and me? Well, it means basically, along the Gulf Coast at least, that Debby's going to continue to meander around the coastal waters of Florida and Alabama and Mississippi, but really won't intensify all that much, and then it's going to start to drift inland and eventually lift to the northeast towards the coastal waters of the northern Atlantic. Well off of the coast, but still something to keep an eye on as we move on through the forecast period. I do not believe that this tropical storm is going to be able to intensify. I know some model guidance that I'm going to show, like the European, tries to really intensify this storm, but given all of the southwesterly shear under the influence and the trek it takes over land, I think it's going to be hard-pressed to see any rapid development of this tropical storm. And quite frankly, it's just not very well organized, and I would not be surprised if it collapses over portions of the Florida Panhandle and southern Georgia by the end of this week. So let's take a look at the forecast, shall we? Alright. This is the European model guidance from the Penn State EWALT website, an excellent website for model guidance and other information on the weather. So here we are for this evening. We see our trough starting to lift through the northern mid-Atlantic. Here's our basically our upper level influence from Tropical Storm Debby here. Now what's going to happen as we move on through this evening into tomorrow, our trough lifts to the north and east. We get on the northwesterly side of this trough, and that means we remain cool tomorrow, yet we start to clear out with sky cloud cover, low humidity, and temperatures in the lower to mid 70s. Pretty nice, right? Keep an eye on this ridge. This ridge is going to build and expand throughout much of the eastern United States, and under this ridge, temperatures are going to become very hot. So as we move on through the week, the trough lifts out, the ridge continues to build east. Now look at what's under this ridge. Temperatures are around 30 degrees Celsius under this ridge. Why is that important? Temperatures at 30 degrees Celsius at 850 millibars translates to about 110 to 120 degrees over the Mississippi and Tennessee River valleys. It's going to get a bit toasty down there. And what that means for us is that eventually that heat's going to start to expand to the east and move into the northern mid-Atlantic. Now it also means that as this ridge builds, these troughs and the influence of this trough is also going to weaken. So as we move on through the weekend, unfortunately we're going to be setting up for what should be a rather toasty weekend with temperatures pushing into the upper 80s to mid 90s for highs by the end of the week into the weekend, with also high levels of humidity. Again, unlike this current trough that was somewhat influential and knocked down the heat just a bit, this trough is going to be even weaker. If anything, it's just going to kick this tropical remnants, which I think is going to be much weaker, out into the Atlantic, but really won't have a major impact on our temperatures. So as we move on through next weekend and into next week, well, it gets pretty hot. The ridge expands, it builds into the northern mid-Atlantic, and you're talking about 850 millibar temperatures over 20 degrees Celsius approaching the northern mid-Atlantic, and that means very hot conditions are on the way. So if you like hazy, hot, and humid weather conditions, you're really going to enjoy this upcoming pattern that looks like it's going to be sustained for some time. So that is your forecast for today. Again, keep an eye on those strong, severe thunderstorms through this morning, and then thereafter we'll deal with periods of rain through the afternoon, and then clearing out for this evening with excellent weather conditions the rest of the week, with temperatures near to above normal in the lower 80s to lower 90s as we head into the end of the week. That is your forecast discussion for today. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen D. Martino. You can follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.